Hey there everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here to talk about Match Me Abroad, Season 1, Episode 4, Catch Me Catch. Let me know what you guys thought about this one down below, and if you enjoy my video, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. I'd love for you to do any of those things. So, alright, let's get into it. Let's start with Stanika. She's from Mississippi. She's in Morocco. The last time we left her, she was getting done with a really great first date. I thought it was cute. Her date went amazing. She's impressed with Nina's skills. She really liked this guy. She wants to keep seeing Nordine. Her and Nina are, however, headed to Rabat for another date for Stanika. But they're talking about her first date with Nordine and how he brought her flowers, and when they were walking, he kept her on the inside, he did the gentlemanly thing. She said they've been texting and he's seeming interested, but Nina encourages her to kind of put Nordine in the back of her head and don't let that stop her from enjoying the next date, right? The next date's name is Salah. He does have a little bit of a hard time speaking English. And not only that, they're heading to his family's restaurant for the date, and Stanika's a little taken aback by that she's going to meet his family on the first date. Nina kind of says she's in Morocco, so she has to speed up the process. She has limited time. I also think it has to do with, from what we've seen on shows in the past where they're dating people from other cultures, especially in Morocco, they have to get the family's permission to marry, right? So I don't know if that's part of it. They didn't say that, but I know enough about these that they usually need permission. Nina, they both make it to Rabat. Nina meets her so they can head to the family's restaurant for the date. Stanik is stating how she really likes Nordine and she doesn't see the point in going on other dates because she likes him. Nina's saying she wants her to date as many guys and go on as many first dates so she can build that confidence, right? And get some experience in dating. Don't just, oh, I like this guy, the first one, and don't see what else is out there. She does say that there's going to be a translator because Nina speaks a different dialect, I guess, or they can't understand her American accent with their language. They get to the restaurant and the translator meets them, and they have a seat, and we find out that he isn't there yet. I don't know if it was a translator or his sister, now that I think about it. But either way, he finally strolls his ass in there, right? They state that he was nervous. He does have flowers, so Stanika's hotel is going to be looking like a flower shop pretty soon. I bet it's going to smell good. She notices his muscles. He's attractive. He has really tight pants, which shows off that what she sees what she likes. She feels like he's a little blessed in certain areas in tight pants, right? They're sitting there, they're casually chit-chatting, and there's a point where Stanika laughs, I don't know if this is editing or what, but this man's face was like, that is the most annoying laugh I've ever seen. So, he kind of looked like, what in the world did I just hear? Immediately, they barely are saying hi or anything. And he just starts marching his brother in. And she's kind of like, oh no, I'm feeling ambushed. Like, she didn't ask him nothing. She don't know his star sign, his age. You know, is he allergic to anything? I don't know. Is he the oldest? She don't know nothing. His brother comes in, and he just starts to ask her questions. What's your job? She, says she's a realtor, but she does other entrepreneurial things. Why she's coming to a matchmaker. She explains she's like never dated before because men are all cheaters and liars, and I mean that's her opinion, not mine. I don't agree with that. Not everybody is that way. But the man she's on a date with, and I did have to double check because there's two men that we've never met. Like, I guess either one's an option. But he looks at her and he's like, do you ever think that you're the problem? Like maybe she's the common denominator and she's the problem. Obviously she gets offended. But before she has a chance to fully like, excuse me, sir, what? I'm the problem? Or anything, defend herself. The parade continues. And in march in his parents. And I mean they left quick. In and out. They said something that like no one could pick up on. Even the matchmaker's confused. She don't know what's going on. The translator or sister who's sitting there is like, I don't know. He looks at her and he's like, tell them what happened. He gets up and he's leaving and the translator's like, he said he'll be back. Like, they're all just looking confused, like, what is going on? And they're building up the drama, so you know it's gonna end here. They show a small clip of him and his mom arguing, and he says something like, he knows who's gonna be right for him, they don't need to tell him. Something along those lines, I'm paraphrasing. And that's actually where the episode ended. So we gotta wait for next week to find out what happens there. But I would have already ended the date. Or at least looked at the matchmaker like this. Like, girl, get me out of here. You're American, you know this. You know this. No. Please end the date. Oh my gosh. Universe, why? Is this so I just stick with Noradine because it's looking real good right now? Something like that. I would have been out. I think that's too much. And it happened so quickly. Whether or not that was editing, who knows? But let me know what you guys think. Would you have took off? I would have been back in that van. So, let me know what you think about that. Next, I'm going to move on to Nathalie. She's heading to her first date in Colombia. She's excited to, go out with someone who her mom didn't pick for her. Her date's name is Stewar. And when he introduced himself, she couldn't understand what he was saying. And he says, Stewar, and she goes, seawater? She couldn't pronounce it. They show a quick clip of Juan saying this man's the opposite of what her mother would pick. And it's just a short clip. He has tattoos and she's attracted to him. He's a personal trainer. It's his first time dating an American woman and he thinks she is pretty. And then the next sentence that comes out of his mouth was the moment I didn't like him. And he says, do I think she's attractive and voluptuous? No, but she's pretty. We'll see how it goes. I couldn't stand, I couldn't believe he said that. All I could think of at the time was that MTV show when the guy walks out, or the girl, and the person they're dating is like, next. After like 2 minutes, next. That's how I felt right when I saw him. Like, I'm done with this. They need to add that to matchmaking where you can like hit a panic button. Cause yeah, he gave me like terrible vibes. They were definitely F-boy vibes. Right? So they take a walk to where they're gonna eat. She really can't understand anything he's saying, right? As they're walking, he holds her hand, and it makes her nervous, and she asks him to stop. She's not comfortable. She just met him and all that. And then I start thinking, this must be part of Juan's strategy of like, give them what they ask for, so then they'll run into what I want to give them. Or at least other options. Because she wanted the opposite of what her mom would pick, right? And he kind of mentioned something similar with Susan. So they're sitting there. They're trying to talk. It's really hard. No one can understand a damn thing anybody is saying. He's trying to tell her, do you like music? And what his favorite music is. He's trying to tell her the kind of music, and he speaks it into the translator, and it translates into something like very explicit and sexual. Her face, she couldn't believe what she was reading. They have a good laugh about it, and she just hopes it's a misunderstanding, right? He thinks that she's cute, so, that permits her the great privilege of bestowing herself upon his motorcycle, and he gives her a ride around his city. Still hard F-boy energy. I could smell it on him. He reeks of it. They end up at her hotel, and she can't even believe where she is right now. She's a super conservative girl. She never met some man and brought him back to a hotel, right? Her mom would be shook if she knew what was happening. But she is interpreting what Juan means about being more sexy and having fun with, like, having sexy time. I don't think she needs to jump into bringing men to her hotel room. Especially this one. So when we come back to them, they're heading to the pool in the hotel. This guy has already sealed the deal in his head. He says something, it could be one night, it could be more. We'll see. And this guy is just so triggering for me. Is it just me? Do you guys feel triggered, or do you get the ick from this guy? I start, getting the vibe from Natalie as they're like getting situated, and she's sitting there that she was, always a good girl, I am sure. She listened to everything her parents said, and that is awesome. But she is a good girl trying to act like a bad girl, or trying to be cool, or trying to be accepted, and she doesn't want to be like the stuffy one or the uptight one. She wants to be the one who cuts loose, and I think it's okay for her to be conservative. There's nothing wrong with that. So then F-boy number 9 jumps into the pool, and she gets really uncomfortable. He's, practically naked. He does have shorts on. But she kind of, like, to me, she feels like when I have anxiety and you're, like, frozen with fear and you just sit there. And the world's going on around you, but you're stuck. She's just uncomfortable. She's never been in this situation. So she speaks up and she says, so, do you want to call it a night? And F-boy number 9 over here says, no. Like, who is he to say no? This is her hotel room. And she's being polite. So then she goes, yeah, I'm, like, tired. So then we get to the interview, and this man has changed his tune, right? He's saying Juan did a bad job matchmaking. All of a sudden, Juan's doing a bad job. Like, this is matchmaking. This is not Tinder or the passing of the ships at the bar, one night. Like, these people are trying to find life partners. So why is he mad that she asked to end the date? It was the first time they met. They couldn't even speak. She couldn't understand one word he said, and he's mad. When he said that he doesn't like that she's conservative, I think he meant he doesn't like that she is not easy. And now this poor girl feels bad about herself, like she's not, like, loose enough. She doesn't have fun. She's not sexy enough. She doesn't need to be those things. Men should not treat women this way. Like, she at least let him come over. She tried, and when she wasn't uncomfortable, she spoke up for herself, which some people have a hard time doing. And instead of respecting that, he told her no, they couldn't end the night. Disgusting. I'm glad that this date is over and that we're following her story and not his, because he needs to just stick to the dating apps. That's all I'm saying. F-boy number 9, goodbye. I hope I never see you again. Then we get to my favorite person on the show so far, Harold. He's still disappointed about his date with Teresa. He's really beating himself up for having, like, issues reading her emotions, and he's worried too much about his needs and what he needed to answer and what in his head he was accomplishing here than to worry about hers and reading her social cues. That's part of being ASD, right? It's hard for you to do that. So I feel bad that he feels like something's wrong with him when the world should be more understanding of neurodivergence and more educated on how to handle it. It's a really it's a field that not a lot of people work in, so there's not a lot of resources. And he's in an age group where it wasn't even really a thing. So he deserves some grace, and he should give himself that, right? So he's in to see the dragon lady, Katerina, right? And she immediately hates his shirt. Disgust flowing all over her. And she starts to explain she got a really, like, displeased call from Teresa about the date. They show the call. She was basically saying, she was unattracted of him. She wasn't attracted to him, and she was bored. The whole world could see that. The guy renting out the paddle boats could see that. The ducks in the pond saw that she was bored, right? Then this woman is like, well, I'm going to give you a chance to explain yourself. Like, what's she going to do? Reprimand him? Put him in timeout? Is there a fee? A $25 charge if, like, you have a terrible date? Like, what does she mean? I don't know why. I can't stand this woman. But when he's explaining himself, He said he felt like rushed from the time crunch of the boat rental. So I'm guessing he was filled with anxiety and, he's thinking, oh gosh, I have 30 minutes. I have to know her whole life story and see if we're going to get married because I really want to get married. And if I don't do this well, I'll never get married. And, I think that's what was going on. He says he gave her a nice drawing. And that he had asked her if she finds him attractive. Katerina did not like this. She, asked why he would ask that, right? He said it's because he's always felt like he didn't feel like she could possibly be attracted to him because he's always chasing Barbie and he's not Ken. He's just Harold. That broke my little heart. It really did. He says he's been used a lot by women, financially, sexually, all that stuff. She finally gets down to it and she's like, what are you really looking for? And he finally realizes that he's looking for someone intelligent, into the same things as him, intellectually stimulating, right? She agrees that he needs a more like-minded woman. And then she gently tells him he needs a makeover because his wardrobe is not where it's at. I don't think a makeover would hurt. It would help give him confidence. It's kind of a fun thing to do. He talks about how he loves his style and it's comfortable, but he's willing to, try this out because he trusts Katerina and her process and all that. So they go and they meet with Petra, the stylist, at the studio. Harold brings all his clothes with. I'm pretty sure Katerina told him to bring them so she could burn them in a pile later or something. Petra starts to say she's going to tell him, this is a keeper, this is a get rid of. And Katrina jokingly is, grabbing his stuff, throwing it to the, get rid of. And I felt like they were being very rude and condescending. Mostly Katerina. I can't project that onto Petra yet because we haven't really heard her talk too much. But it's making him feel, incapable of, picking clothes or dressing himself. And he already feels bad enough about the date. So he comes out and he's in, a nice button-up shirt and some nice pants and shoes. And they're like, wow, oh my gosh, look at you. I'm like, these women just put him in a button-up shirt. And then they, add the razzle-dazzle with the suit jacket. And he looks great. But who dresses like that every day? I've never done that. I've never dated someone who wore a suit jacket. That probably says more about me. But anyway, he looks good. Hopefully, they get him more than just one outfit. So then she starts telling him about his next date, and her name is Michaela, and she's into sci-fi and science, real regular science, not sci-fi science. And, all the nerdy things that make life great, right? But this woman, Katerina, instead of saying anything else, she describes this woman as quirky because she likes sci-fi. How many people like sci-fi? Not all of them are described as quirky. You're quirky because you're into nerdy things? And I say that respectfully because I am definitely a nerd and a dork at heart, and I always will be. But yeah, it's they're quirky. He doesn't know how to dress. How rude are these people? Why is she do you guys feel that way? Let me know what you think of Katerina, because I've had enough of her, and I'm sad she's the one on this journey with us and Harold. But I have higher hopes for a second date, and I hope it goes well for him. Finally, we're going to talk about Mark, aka the frat boy in a grown man's body. It's his second day in Morocco. He was still soaking in the rules that he heard the night before. But he's excited to meet Nina. He's also regretful of not looking up what dating is like in Morocco before he came. I am shocked. But at least he's self-aware. He can see where he slipped up. Maybe he'll choose a matchmaker in another country and be on the next season. Right? So, Nina comes up and they greet with a hug. And she's like, we just broke 3 laws. And my first thoughts were like, why? Where was this energy towards Stanika, right? Did she not hug her first date? Or at least shake his hand or embrace in some way? She's never told her, don't hold their hands, don't get close, don't invite him to your hotel. At least not on camera. I've never seen her get on her about any of that. So, anyways, she does explain that he wants a wife and a family, so he needs to not focus on the physical part. So I think she's using the laws a little bit as training tools to teach him, to get to know someone. So she's letting him know that the women in Morocco aren't going to be like working, basically. Like he would be the sole provider. He's a little taken aback by that. He wasn't prepared for that either. She says, that's the culture here. And he's like, that's not my culture. He wasn't prepared for this. And this makes me wonder if they had any conversation about any of the rules or what to expect or what dating's like before, or if he just signed up and she's like, yeah, come on over. You know what you want, right? Fill out this questionnaire. Like, nobody gets an info packet on where they're going. Did they not make travel brochures anymore? I don't exactly travel, but let me know if they at least make that, not that he doesn't have Google and a smartphone available. Anyway, after that, Nina is like, yeah, but don't worry about finances and things on the dates. He's like, he can't get used to the 1700 way of thinking. He's not signing up to support a woman and their kids and the whole household on his own. That's not really American culture. We're all expected to work, and mainly because life is impossible almost without 2 incomes these days. I mean, how expensive are eggs? But anyway, she tells him he has a date with a woman named Sukanya. She's 24, and he's really iffy about that. She's young. I'll say that I'm definitely younger than Mark, and I don't know that I would date a 24-year-old. We're just different stages in life, but I'm not going to judge if it works out. He's iffy about her age. And then Nina is like, yeah, but she definitely wants to come to America. That's good for you. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. Like, what? Wow. Just wow. Like, that's got to be on the application, right? Like, they're willing to move to another country, which I get because you're matchmaking from America to this country. But it just seems like, what is this service to help these people marry Americans and get out of their countries? Like, what if they wanted to meet an American and have them stay in their country with them? But I guess, that would be a preference talked about at the beginning. maybe that's some info she takes down before, because she surely doesn't tell people the customs, because when Stanica was shopping for clothes, she said, wear whatever you want, be free, do you. And Stanica's walking around in beautiful garments, beautiful clothes, but she has her legs out in shorts. She's not being conservative or covering up. She's allowed to hug her dates if she wants. So I don't understand why she's being so hard on Mark. And I don't understand why all of these matchmakers are rude and try to change their clients and mold them into someone they can match. Like the perfect match for someone. Instead of taking what they already are and not playing these mind games and finding them someone suited for who they are at the moment. People don't really change without like growth of years and discipline and making a conscious effort to change those behaviors over time. So Harold changing his outfit is going to be fine until he gets home, right? And then he's back to Harold. This guy not being physical on these dates and all this is fine until he goes back home and that's how he dates. Like, just because you manipulate them, you're not going to change a super conservative girl into a sex kitten to fit your agenda and make her appealing to these men that you have available. Then say, I don't have anybody to match with you. But no, they want to get paid, right? They want to be on the show. I'm glad that I got that out, though. Thank y'all for listening. Let me know what you thought. If you agree or disagree. Thumbs up. And if you subscribe, I would love that. It would mean everything to me. So I hope you have a good week and be safe out there. Bye.